And one of the really young, promising students that came along, she's actually very interested in developing and sustaining and building her own media. And one of the things that I told her that I think is imperative, and I think this is true for every Newhouse student, is I believe that every student in Newhouse should either do a double major or a minor, or at least take some classes in business. Because if you understand business and you understand how corporate America works, then you can understand how American media works. You can understand why that idiot Bill O'Reilly and his silly show on Fox News is making so much money that it'll never go away, or not for a very long time. You can understand what it takes to finance and capitalize your own media outlets. I'm going to go to Chicago this month, in fact, and meet with Reverend Jackson and his family about, and talk about ideas that can lead to us financing and capitalizing our own black media outlets. Because one of the things that disappointed me so much about his gaffe on Fox News, which I told him I I just had major problems with that. It bothered me on so many levels, and I said, you are one of our most respected leaders in the black community, and it really bothers me that you still have to go to places like Fox News in order to get a message out to your people. And that even ignores the fact that I was wondering, why didn't you realize that your microphone might still be on? So it's just, so moving beyond that, I will say that I think that it is a major problem. That most media in America is owned by people who aren't black. Most of the hosts for these shows are not black. If I wanted to create a black leader, and I could create a black leader in 2 weeks. If I were the CEO of CNN, all I'd have to do is grab a random black person, whoever I want, and put them all over the television set, all over the newspapers, and just give this person crazy publicity. And within 2 to 3 weeks, I have created, voila, a new black leader. And that's problematic when people who aren't black, or people who in many cases don't care about black people, sometimes don't even like black people, are choosing black leaders. That's crazy. So I think ultimately with these Newhouse students, I would like to see a greater integration between Newhouse and Whitman so that all these students are learning business while they are there. Now, I'm not going to be the person to teach it to them because I've already been, marginalized by the SU campus, and I probably won't even be here that long. I'm not going to be the guy to do it. However, one thing I've noticed is that as a result of some of the things I've said to this campus, things that were not always that popular, I've noticed they've been hiring more and more people of color. They're admitting more and more black students, I guess, to kind of prove, hey, we're going to show this guy that we don't have the racial bias that he's claiming we have. So I'm going to leave it to those individuals, and hopefully I've helped clear a path for those people to move forward with this agenda. It's not about getting into someone else's machine. It's about building your own engine, even if it's smaller than the engines around you. That's how you obtain power in a capitalist democracy.
Well said.
Very good. Very good. Ebony, do you have any additional questions in this area?
I actually didn't have a question. I had a quick comment. You mentioned you think that many students should minor, or Newhouse students should minor in management. I just wanted to say really quickly, that's something new that Newhouse just started offering. I know when I was a student, that was something that a lot of us wanted to do, and a lot of the minority students went into television, radio, film management because you were not allowed to take management as a minor, as a Newhouse student. So I just wanted to commend the university on the fact that they recognize that is a need, and now they've opened that option up for students.
I think it's a great idea. And in fact, also, Whitman's very good at entrepreneurship. They should study a little bit of entrepreneurship. And you don't necessarily have to take 1,000 classes to make that happen. My brother is 25 years old, and he runs a very successful business now. And he basically just came to live with me for 2 years, and he read a bunch of books on how to run a business, and now he's now pursuing his MBA at Cornell, but he knows more about business than most people I know who have MBAs. So you don't have to necessarily take a bunch of classes to get it. You just have to read a book, have the desire, and listen and learn, and build your own institution. That's what we need to teach our youth right now, in my opinion.
Do you read anything particular into the fact that Lorraine Branham is now the first black dean of Newhouse?
Well, I think it's a great move for SU. I don't know much about Ms. Branham. We reached out to have lunch with her, and I think they told her already not to stay away from me. That to be honest with you, that does happen. I mean, there have been administrators who have been told by Central Campus, like, stay away from Boyce Watkins, and that's okay with me. That really doesn't offend me. But maybe if they got to know me a little better, they might have a different impression. But when you get that angry black man label slapped on you, it leads to a lot of repercussions that I was always prepared for from the very beginning. Now, in terms of what she's going to do for people of color in Newhouse, I think a lot of that's really going to come down to what the alumni do. I think that if the alumni are there and are making sure that their interest and that their agenda is on the table at every meeting and every decision that's being made, then you're going to see change. I think that if we sort of expect her to always do the right thing, even though the administrative incentives are driven to encourage her to do the wrong thing, then you're not going to usually get what you're looking for. So I think that whatever her mindset is, I think that the alumni can really help her to do things for people of color by putting polite pressure on her to remind her of what you guys kind of need to have reflected in the school that you came from.
I just want to add something going back to what you said about students just doing things on their own, entrepreneurship, management, Newhouse school students. One of the things that I was a part of while at Syracuse, when I first came to school, I was dually enrolled, and like you said, that's a plus. If you can be in Newhouse, and hopefully if you're dually enrolled, take some courses in management, that can help you out in the long run in reference to starting your own business and just getting, your media cues out there instead of leaning on things like, Fox News, CBS, and anybody else. But would you suggest one of the outlets that I did have at Syracuse University, and I think is still available, is the newspaper called The Black Voice? And there I learned, a lot of things about, the newspaper world. I was writing articles, I was interviewing people. I also worked at the radio station. Bill and I both worked at WAER while we were there as students. And we got to know, basically how a company runs. So that, when you get out, you can go into this business and eventually, if you have those entrepreneurial, ideals and thoughts, you can begin your own business. Would you suggest to students who are currently in school now, especially in Newhouse School, or just at Syracuse University, just might have, like a hobby of writing or interested in media, should they go and check out what's available there, the resources, the very rich resources at Syracuse University to start that their first step into, starting their own business?
Yeah, I think that you should take advantage of all those opportunities. I've worked with the Black Voice a lot. They do a great job. WAER, work with them. They do a great job. Even at Power 106.9, I know I've seen students get involved over there. There are a lot of opportunities around, and I noticed that even with Your Black World, one of the things about Your Black World that was great was that through the internet, you have instant worldwide distribution, and that's where obviously we all know that's where media is going. We know that print is a changing media. I wouldn't call it a dying media, but I would say that it's certainly changing to the point where it's causing a lot of stress for a lot of people. And I think that the web is a great way to have a massive audience if you manage it right and you can put a little money into it. So, what I encourage students to do is to be creative and to realize that the rules of media are changing, whether we like it or not. We can complain about the fact that bloggers have so much power, but that doesn't change the fact that they have power. We can, if you look at examples like the Huffington Post, that's a website that, Ariana Huffington got a little money and created a website that gets as much readership as the New York Times, if I'm not mistaken. So there are opportunities out there, particularly with the internet. And in fact, I still do television, and stuff like that. But honestly, we diverted a lot of our company's resources toward the internet because we find that is a way to really hit your target audience in exactly the way you want to hit them. For example, if I did an interview on CNN, I'd have to, if I have a message for black people, I've got to explain to 500,000 non-black people why I said what I said, and that's not really my job. I'm not Barack Obama. I'm not a bridge builder. I'm a mobilizer. So if I go through the web, my audience, my work goes right to my target audience, and I can inspire and encourage those individuals to embrace the agendas that we've all agreed upon. So I think it's a matter of being creative, being intelligent, understanding the mixture between media know-how, corporate and business know-how, and technological know-how, and formulating teams around those concepts so that you can